What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Isles Talk. We're gonna forget the vlogcast, the live cast. I'm unfortunately everywhere. Sorry. So we're just gonna keep this as at Isles Talk. Gonna have a great show here tonight, as always. But it's also going to be a very lazy night. I'm going to be very, very lazy. I didn't really plan a lot of stuff. You really can't plan anything when you have a 10 game, when your team has a 10 game winning streak going on. What's up, fellas? Um, yeah, for those of you on um, Facebook, welcome back, guys. Periscope, hi. You guys have no clue who I am. You will later on at some point. So, and YouTube, this will be uploaded later on. But I hear YouTube's had some problems. So, we'll get to that later on. So, welcome once again to the to Isles Talk. We're talking New York Islanders. We are talking NHL. Something that I always do to start off the show with. I usually go over the standings. I usually go over the statistics concerning the Islanders. The standings I always do with all the other teams, and because of what's been going on, I'm gonna just take questions pretty much all day. Um, I'm not all day. Dear God, some of you would be here all day with me. That would just drive me nuts, and you all know it. No, we're gonna be here for about an hour, and we're gonna go from there. Um, yeah, let's have fun with this, guys. Let's just have some fun with this. Starting off in the East, um, I mean, there's not much more to say. Also with the standings, guys. For those of you who don't know, I always do the percentages. I never ever look at just that point total that the NHL holds up. I just don't do it. It doesn't measure the whole, how those teams are doing right now. So um, I consider the Islanders in first place. They are 11-3 after their 14 games. You're looking at a 129-point pace. Probably have not been able to say something like that since 2001, 2002, and none of you were on the internet. Forget about Facebook. Forget about Twitter. MySpace was probably the thing, or at least it just got started. I mean, some of us were probably used to AOL and the slow internet. LimeWire may have just been coming around. Yeah, that's how long it's been. That's how long it's been, guys. Since the Islanders have had a start like this in some kind of memory. So, welcome, guys. 129-point pace. Is this what the Islanders are the Islanders going to be doing this for the entire season? I don't know. No one knows. The team knows. Do I believe they could? Sure. Why not? Anything's possible at this point. Taking a look at the rest of the East, the Caps are right on our tail. They're going to be. They're up there. They're on pace for 128. The Carolina Hurricanes, they're on pace for 104. They're doing about basically what I thought they would be doing right now. The Philadelphia Flyers, 7-5-2. They're on pace for 94. I'm not completely. I don't trust the Flyers. I don't. That's the team I really don't trust this year. And again, we're early, very early in the standings here, very early in the season. But the fact that they're on pace for 94 points for now, that should be normal for the Flyers. Pens, despite the injuries, guys, they're 8-6-1. I was kind of hoping they'd be worse. I really was hoping they'd be worse. But Pens are holding on, and that's what bothers me because they are our next opponent. They are the Islanders' next opponent heading into tomorrow. And then you got the Devils, Rangers, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Devils have made a nice little run back here. They're going 4-5-4. But again, 4 wins in 13 games is not really going to get you anywhere. The Rangers are 5-6-1. Ditto. 5 wins in 12 games is not going to get you anywhere. And the Columbus Blue Jackets have it even worse with 5 wins in 15 games. So they've got some catching up to do. If you look over at the Atlantic, I've said this before, the Senators and the Wings, they're pretty much out. I don't see them doing anything, but 4 wins in 14 games for the Sens, 4 wins in 16 for the Wings, pretty much says it all. In my sixth place right now, the Tampa Bay Lightning, 6th place. They're on pace for 88 points. They're going to come back. Let's not, do a happy dance here that Tampa Bay is not going to make the playoffs. I have a feeling Tampa Bay is going to make the playoffs, and I think they're going to make a much longer run into the playoffs than most probably want to admit. I think they're learning a defensive system, sort of a defensive system, and I think as soon as they get that and they can combine that with all of their offense, they're going to be a dangerous team towards the end of the season and probably into the playoffs. I just hope the Islanders don't have to play them at all at some point. And then you got the Leafs, who we play next week. They are at 8-5-3. They're on pace for 97 points. They're the Leafs. 8 wins, 16 games. John Tavares returns. We'll see if that changes anything for the better. But there are 2 teams right now that I think everyone should be paying a little more attention to. Montreal on pace for 98 points. For now, that's a really good start. And I think for right now, I don't know if the Habs can hold on to it. I think Tampa Bay is really going to determine how well the Habs finish up. Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers right now are on pace for 105 points. 105. That's a tough one. We've got them on Saturday. So they're playing to the system. That's it. It's coaching. It's the same thing as the Islanders. I would consider the Panthers the Islanders of the Atlantic. I really would. Second place, finally falling off that momentum, are the Buffalo Sabres. They're on pace for 109, and you have arguably the number 1 team in the NHL right now, the Boston Bruins, at 131. So, as far as I'm concerned, the Islanders are the second best team in the Eastern Conference, and if I'm not mistaken, I need to get a remote mouse for this. This would just be so much easier. Yeah, the Islanders, and for now, as of November 6, 2019, I would put the Islanders as the second best team in the National Hockey League. That's what happens when you do a 10-game winning streak. So, good on the Isles in the Eastern Conference, good on the Isles for the NHL. Going over to the Western Conference real quick, the Kings and the Sharks, 5 wins in 15 games, 5 wins in 16 games. For those of you who had the Sharks in the playoffs, hope you didn't bet any money. The Flames right now on pace for 91 points. The Flames pretty much did this last year. Flames were hovering around the 90-point mark, and all of a sudden they got hot. Sure enough, they ended up somewhere in the 100s. The competition in the Pacific Division is a little tougher, but I like where the Flames are right now. I think they're just doing their own thing, and they should stay competitive, especially what happened in the Central. The Ducks holding on at 92. I don't know if they can hold on to that 92-point pace. I don't see the Ducks in the 90s. If they can do it, that'd be great. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Ducks finish up like 85 to 90 points or 82 to 87. That wouldn't be a bad idea. That's not too far off for them. I think they can still pull that off. Vegas, you're looking at 103. That's just Vegas. Arizona. I'm really rooting for Arizona. I really am. This is a feel-good story for me. I was kind of hoping they, at least make a legitimate run, and that's exactly what they're doing, at least for the first 15 games. They're on pace for 109 points, so good for them. I love their goaltending. I love the defense, and the coaching's been really good over there, and obviously Kessel does help. He's that one sexy player. The Edmonton Oilers, they're on pace. They're in second place for me in the Pacific. They're on pace for 113. And again, there's something similar to Buffalo. I want to see if they can really hold on. They should. The goaltending has been excellent. And, defensively is there, but, obviously the Achilles heel with Edmonton, if it's not the defense, it's been the secondary scoring. So, for me, can the Oilers, can Arizona, can they all hold on? Will Vegas take over second at some point? I think they will. Will the Flames eventually move up? I think they will. So there's a lot of, shall we say, hockey drama going on in the Pacific right now, and I think that's excellent. I think they need that kind of exposure. They need it. West Coast, absolutely, because with the Kings and the Sharks not really doing anything, they, Western Canada can use this. And speaking of Western Canada, we've got the Vancouver Canucks, who I currently have in first place in the Pacific with 100. They're on pace for 115 points. Now, before I get into the Central, when I do the point pace, is there a big difference between 115 and 113? Absolutely not. Is there a big difference between 115 and 103? No, not right now. Really, is there a big difference between 115 and 92? No. Why? Because we're only 15 games in. For those of you who have been following me, I never do standings until like game 16 or game through 20. I'm usually watching as many games as possible, and I'm just enjoying the season. The reason why I'm doing the standings so early is because the Islanders have a 10-game winning streak. Hello, got to be involved. And we're going to get into that a little deeper in a few minutes, but going over to the Central, I've got 3 teams eliminated from the, excuse me, guys. I have 3 teams eliminated from the playoffs in the Central Division. Again, another little fan favorite of mine. Every team who has scored 8 points or less in their first 10 games have missed the playoffs, and that goes back to all the way to 2013-14. So since the start of the new collective bargaining agreement, that's what we've had. The Wild, Hawks, and the Stars. They didn't score 9 points or more in their first 10 games. So for fun, I've eliminated all of them. Hate me all you want. That's fine. Minnesota Wild, again, similar story to like Columbus, the Kings and the Sharks. 5 wins in 15 games is not going to get you anywhere. The Hawks 4-14. I did say on episode 3 though, the Stars were that one team who could possibly make a comeback and prove me wrong, and that's fine. But the Stars are now 8-8, 17 points in 17 games. They're on pace for 82. And again, I don't know. Klingberg's now out for 2 weeks. Is he going to be that much of an impact? What happens if Dallas gets a few more injuries? Are they just going to suddenly collapse? So we're going to find out. But Dallas has slowly brought themselves back in. The problem is they've already had 17 games. So they're a little ahead of the curve there in terms of games played against everyone else. The Jets, despite the lack of defense and the drama with Dustin Byfuglien, they are still in the mix here. They're on pace for 87 points. Good for them. I don't know how much longer they can hold up for. I really do think they're going to make a move at some point to help out the defense, but their offense, the Jets right now just remind me of the Toronto Maple Leafs of the Central Division. It's a lot of offense with some defense, with some goaltending. So we'll see if the Jets can hold on. And then you got your big three, the Avs, Predators, and Blues. They're all bunched together. Blues are on pace for 118. The Preds are on pace for 109. And the Avs are on pace for 98. Honestly, for me right now, the Central is not as dominant as it was. I'm looking forward to a lot of the Pacific games going on right now. I think they are really going to determine whether or not the Stars and the Jets make the playoffs. Moving back east, let's bring it back here to the east, and we can talk Isles now. Let's talk Isles. This is Isles talk, so let's talk Isles. 10-game winning streak for the New York Islanders. Look, there's nothing much more for me to say. There's nothing much more for me to write. This was something that I was hoping for. A lot of people are looking like, how did the Islanders do this? Well, it's pretty simple. When the team gives up 29 goals in 14 games, guess what? You're going to win some games. When you bring back the players who learned the system last year, and they're improving on that system this year, you got a 10-game winning streak. When you bring in the coaching, especially the goalie coaches, to help out the goalies, again, even Varlamov, you get these insane numbers that help the Islanders rack up 10. Okay? And most important for me right now is, in fact, Matt Barzal, who, and I got some constructive criticism for it, but I still, even this year, right now, this year, I still consider Matt Barzal a prospect. Why do I consider him a prospect? Because we are, as Islander fans, we are seeing his growth, we are seeing his development, and now we are seeing his evolution in front of our eyes. Did we see him as a second-line center when he was first drafted? Of course. That was going to be his role. Now we have a different situation. Different coaches, different players, and there is a different expectation for Matt Barzal. Did he meet that expectation last year? No, he didn't. It was a kind of a rough go for Matt Barzal. But it was a learning curve for him. And now he's one of the top 100 forwards in the league. Could he be a top 50? Maybe. That could be debatable. But we didn't know. We didn't know what Matt Barzal was really going to be this year. We knew he was going to be good. But let me ask you guys. I asked a couple of Islander fans who have been around quite a bit, who watch the games quite often, and you guys in the chat, you can give me your opinion. Give me the one player from Islanders past where you feel Matt Barzal is best compared to. Give me someone from the Islanders past that Matt Barzal reminds you of. Okay, there were a couple of people, a couple of players in here. Jason Blake was one. Jason Blake, puck possession, could skate around very quick, very fast. Okay, the difference between Blake and Barzal is that Blake ended up scoring 40 goals. My personal one, I had Steve Thomas. Steve Thomas was a great two-way player on this team. Granted, he played wing, but if you took out the positions on everyone's stats, you couldn't tell the difference between Matt Barzal and Steve Thomas. Yes, Steve Thomas was a little rougher, but that was the game back then. But Steve Thomas, plus minus wise, the two-way game, that's what Matt Barzal, he's a faster version to Steve Thomas. So that's agreed. But now this was also brought up. Bryan Trottier. Bryan Trottier, guys. That's a really big compliment. Last year, was anybody comparing him to Bryan Trottier last year? No. No. This is a growth for Matthew Barzal. This is growth for the Islander team. As a whole, this is everything I was hoping for this year. All the players coming back, all the players knowing the system, all the players buying into it, improving on what they did last year, because everything is easier right now for this team. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why granted, you can graduate early as a prospect. That's usually what I do. You can find that out on Isles Talk. But, for me, this is the last year of him being a prospect. This is it, guys. But now we're going to understand what kind of a player he has, the potential to be. And that's a very high ceiling if anyone's going to mention Bryan Trottier's name in the same sentence with Matt Barzal. So let me see something here. Okay. Let's move on here just a little bit. Pierre Turgeon. Still, that's a compliment. Pierre Turgeon is still a very big compliment. Okay. Last year, were we going to compare him to Pierre Turgeon? I don't know. That's close. Maybe not. So let's get into this. I wanted to get into this part as well. Going to the player statistics, again, I go by prorated. I go by point, pace, everything else. Bear with me. But here we go. The Islanders right now are currently on pace for 277 goals. 277 goals. Now, am I saying that the Islanders are going to finish the season with 277 goals? No. No. Bear with me here. Now, the goaltending, listen to this number, guys and gals. The goaltending, along with defense, right now are on pace to give up 172 goals. Let me repeat that. The Islanders' goaltending and defense are on pace to give up 172. That's why you're on a 10-game winning streak. What does that 277 goal pace mean to me? Balance. Balance. What do I see out of 172 potential goals against? More balance. If you listen to any of the locker room comments, the number one word you're hearing in there is commitment. And that goes back to what I had written and said before. When you have the players committed to the system, you find balance. And what happens when you find balance? You get a 10-game winning streak that you haven't seen in God knows how long. 30 years? That's what all of this is, guys and gals. Commitment equals balance equals a 10-game winning streak. That's it. There's really nothing else to go on here. Steve, you're right. I'm not worried if they can sustain it all year long. I try not to look too far into the future. But what I do with the percentages is that, are they on a good pace to get themselves through the season and into the playoffs? Right now, absolutely. Hell, we can probably give the Islanders a 4-week break if we wanted to, and I'm sure the numbers would still be good. Okay, if we look into the future, and stop me if I'm wrong here, guys, I don't think the Islanders ever had like a 3-game losing streak last year. Okay, that's it. 2-game, 3-game losing streak. No, I think they had a couple of 2-game losing streaks. Okay, I don't think Barry's going to stand for a 3-game losing streak. Well, let me put it to you in this perspective. If the Islanders finish 500 for the rest of the year, okay, that's 8 points over. That's only 90 points. It's only 90 points if they finish 500 for the rest of the year. So, no, there is still work to be done. Let's temper the enthusiasm here a little bit. There is still work to be done. But they just have to remain consistently winning on a regular basis. And they probably will with the team that they have. So, really, that's it. That's it. There's nothing for me to really, nothing else to say. I don't have to say it anymore. Oh no, Red Wings? No. Anyway, we'll get into the Red Wings for a minute here. There's nothing more to hear to say on the Isles. I've already written it. It was written back in the summertime. That's just the way it goes. Go on to IslesTalk.com, read it all there. This is what I wanted for you guys. I'm very happy for you guys, who have been through quite a bit with this team. So, having said that, we're going to take a couple of questions right now. Actually, we're good for like at least another half hour. So, water cooler talk, guys. This is the water cooler section. You guys can be drinking anything you want. I don't care. By the way, Star Wars comes out in December. I was asked already, what are my thoughts on the fill-ins? Well, this is kind of a segue as well. I thought everyone's played very well. Do they fit the system? Do the kids that they have brought in, do they fit the system? Yes, they do. They fit the system. Have they been producing a lot? No, not really. Bardreau was great last night. Absolutely no question. That was a great story. Still is. Finally got that goal. But I'm telling you, he reminds me of Michael Grabner in those breakaways. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just the truth. Oliver Wahlstrom has not really looked out of place. He just has not been able to put the puck in the net. I think at this point, I think when Andrew Ladd comes back, I could see Oliver Wahlstrom being sent down. I think when Leo Komarov is back, I think you could see Bardreau. I think you can see all those guys being sent down. But it's not just about the Islanders for Lou Lamoriello. Lou Lamoriello is worried about the entire organization. He knows that if the kids in Bridgeport aren't producing, he knows that at some point the Islanders aren't going to produce either. So sending those kids down with the lessons that they've already learned will only help Bridgeport later on. I think if you put Oliver Wahlstrom on the first line of Bridgeport, Bridgeport's going to improve. Bridgeport's going to come back, in a big way. And then I think you're both going to see the Islanders and Bridgeport both moving up in the standings. Well, the Islanders can't really go any higher at this point. Yeah, Joe, I didn't bring up the power play, but this is an interesting stat. During the 10-game winning streak, the Islanders have only had 15 power plays, and everyone else has been averaging around 30. That's a lot. I do. I think Wahlstrom does need more time in Bridgeport, but that doesn't mean Oliver Wahlstrom hasn't played bad up here with the Islanders. Same thing but with Bardreau. Just because coaches are high, doesn't mean that they're going to be here. I'll get into Hosang one more time. No, I don't think Bargel's going to hold on to the 3C here, guys. Look, for everyone who's been happy with Brassard, the Islanders have a minor problem. Okay. He was brought in to be the 3C of this team. And right now, granted, due to injuries, Eberle is still out for a little while. Brassard's been taking over at the wing, and he's been flourishing. That's not what we brought him in for. That's not what the Islanders brought him in here for. Was it a lack of talent for Brassard? Let's face it. Who would you rather have on your line? Beauvillier Nelson or Dal Colin Komarov? Maybe. Okay. But if Eberle comes back, I could see Andrew Ladd, Derek Brassard, and Leo Komarov on a third line. That's a pretty good third line, guys. That's I don't want to call it the old man line, but I would almost call that like a rugged line. That's got some potential. And, if Andrew Ladd is indeed healthy and ready to go, I got to be honest with you, I would probably enjoy watching him play. I think he could still rack up 25 to 30 points this year if they get him started. So for now, I'm going to go Brassard. We'll go back to 3C. If I had to take that choice, because there's better talent now on that line with Andrew Ladd in there. Could I see Komarov playing the third line C? Probably. He can play center. He can play all those positions. Yeah, I could see that. All right. So where do you see attendance? NYCB and Barclays. You know what? This is my opinion on the attendance, guys. The attendance is always a personal decision. People have the choice whether they want to go to Nassau Coliseum or Barclays. For me personally, it's a pain in the butt. Even coming from Pennsylvania, it's a pain in the butt to get into Brooklyn. Parking is okay, but for me, getting in and out of Brooklyn is a pain in the butt. And I'm driving, guys. I don't have a train. Forget that. If I were to take the train in, I'm looking at the MTA Port Jervis line, and God knows what's that, 2.5 hours, give or take. Might be as long as some of you guys if you're going out to Suffolk County. But in terms of the attendance, some people can't afford it, and that's okay. But there's something to be said about watching a hockey game now on a 55-inch big screen TV with stereo surround speakers. And guess what? If they can't afford it, they've got the next best thing. I think technology has definitely something else to do with that. However, I don't think attendance is going to be a problem at Belmont because I think every seat is going to be sold out, whether or not the fans are there or not. Okay, and I mean that sincerely. Barclays will be sold out, whether or not the fans show up. Honestly, this shouldn't even the fact that Barclays and Nassau Coliseum are like rivaling each other is just stupid. I don't want to go to Barclays. I don't like Barclays. I don't like Coliseum, the travel, this and that. You're all Islanders, for Christ's sake. Where would Islander fans be without Barclays a couple of years ago? I'll tell you, Quebec. Okay? You guys can deny it all you want. You really want to complain about a place to go see your team? Try traveling up to Quebec. That's complaining. You guys have got to be joining together on this. Okay, you're one giant fan base. Thank God you're all coming together at Belmont. Okay, you all just better show up at the same time. That's all. Stop with the hate. Stop with the rivalry. I mean, if I could go, if I had enough time, I'd do it. I'd go to I mean, Barclays itself wasn't a bad experience when I was actually there. I get it. And yes, being a basketball fan, you could tell right off the bat that Barclays was a basketball stadium, but the games itself were good when I was there. But the bickering between the attendants has just got to stop. It's so high schoolish. Yeah, definitely. Unity. Just stop it. If you can't make it, you can't make it. Attendance is always a personal choice, guys. Some people can't go, some people don't want to go. It's up to them. I'm not controlling people, but the separation between Barclays and Nassau has got to stop. Good. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are going. Tomorrow, Wednesday, great. Wonderful. So yeah, come the immediate future, with all the players getting healthy, I do see Ladd coming back, Komarov, um, Eberle. Matt Martin's going to take a little more time. Tommy Kuhnhackl is going to take a little more time. But what happens then? I think anyone who is, allowed to go back down to Bridgeport, they're just going to be sent down. That was the whole purpose. And believe me, for those of you who have been following, you know that I would like to have these kids marinate in the minors for as long as possible, so that when they come up here, it's like a seamless move. Like like nothing changes. And I'm okay with kids coming up early if there are injuries involved. I think Oliver Wahlstrom is ready. Yeah, I don't think so yet. Is he a top 6 forward in the NHL? No, he's not. Cole Bardreau. Is he a bottom 6? He could be. From what he's showing, he could be, but I don't think he's ready yet. They're great stories, don't get me wrong. If it were up to me, I'd send Noah Dobson down to Bridgeport. That's just me, though. I don't think Noah Dobson has been out of place. He's had a couple of rookie, defensive mistakes here and there, but those are minor hiccups. Those are going to happen. But I love the fact that Dobson is playing with Johnny Boychuk. You're not going to learn from anyone better than Johnny Boychuk right now. So I'm happy for all the younger players. This is a great experience. Now they know what winning is all about. Bring it down to Bridgeport. Show them what it is to have a 5, 6, 7, 8 game winning streak. Go for it. Go ballistic. 2 guys I want you to look out for. I want you to look out for Beauvillier, and I want you to look out for Michael Dal Colle. These guys, they're not under the radar per se, but they're making plays for other teammates. They're just not showing up on the score sheet yet. If Anthony Beauvillier had half a point for ringing off the goalpost or the crossbar, the kid would have like 6 goals by now. Total. Michael Dal Colle has been making some very smart plays. He's keeping his game very simple. Michael Dal Colle to me reminds me of Adam Pelech on defense. He's playing a very simple game. He's not really making any major mistakes. And now the Cizikas and Clutterbuck are also scoring. He's a part of it, but he's just not part of the score sheet yet. Give them a little more time. I think you're going to see both of them come out with a big bang, boost the confidence, and I think you're going to see a little more goal production from them probably in the near future, and that's what I'm hoping for. All right, let's talk about Ho-Sang. Real quick, as far as I'm concerned, Josh Ho-Sang shot himself in the foot. I think he ruined his NHL career, and let me tell you guys why. For those of you who know, some of you know, I have some indirect. I have some direct sources and I have some indirect sources. I have been told that had Ho-Sang showed up to Bridgeport when he was supposed to, and he played the way he was supposed to down in Bridgeport, there was an excellent chance that the Islanders were probably going to call up Josh Ho-Sang and not Oliver Wahlstrom. Ho-Sang didn't do anything wrong at training camp. He played the game. There were signs of improvement, but he requested a trade. Once you request a trade, you're done. You're done in Lou's eyes. These 7-8 games that Wahlstrom was playing right now could have been Josh Ho-Sang's ultimate, I don't want to say trial, would have been his ultimate test. And had he succeeded, he probably could have been traded to another team by the time Andrew Ladd gets back. Okay? Instead, he decided to stay home, skate around. And now, if we look at the standings, the Islanders are now the second best team in the National Hockey League right now. Tell me why the Islanders have to trade him. They don't. They can look for suitable partners. They can look for the right price. You know, Lou's going to, eventually trade him, but he's going to get fair value now. And the Islanders are in that position. Can you imagine the fans, the pro Josh Ho-Sang fans, if they had brought up Josh Ho-Sang and the Islanders are in the midst of a 10-game winning streak, how many games did Josh Ho-Sang have? Like the winning record and whatnot. What's what's the Islanders' record with Josh Ho-Sang on this team? Like they would have been going off on this. They would have had a field day. Instead, Josh may have just killed him. I don't want to say killed himself. That's tough. He killed his career on this one, as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be very tough for him to get any kind of permanent NHL staying power after what's been going on right now. Yes, I like Pulock. He is looking much better offensively lately, too. I want Ryan Pulock to be Shea Weber this year. I'm looking for 15 goals. I'm looking for 45 points. I think it's somewhere down the line. I think he's going to come really close to that, or he'll get that. But that's really something that I want to. Oh, wait a minute. For Ryan Pulock. Hold on. Yep. Right there. Pulock, number 6. I love this jersey. Yeah, I love Bo's season so far. I really do. I do like Michael Dal Cole's season so far. None of these kids are out of place, guys. They're just, you know what it reminds me? Some of these kids, they're the same. It was the same as some of the veterans from last year. They're still getting everything together. They're still getting everything together, but they're showing management and the coaches that they belong here. Yeah, the depth of this team is phenomenal. That's what I've always loved, and I think that's what always has been missing: the depth of this team, the depth in the organization. Yeah, Lou holds all the cards. My thoughts. Every other game goalie switch doesn't continue. Hell yeah, it does. You're on pace for, they're on pace to giving up 170. What was that? 172 or 177? I got to get this right. Come here. 172. Okay, I'm not saying that the Islanders are going to do this all season, but my God, when you're winning, you can allow it to happen. Okay, here I'm gonna go off on that here. I'm gonna go a little bit further with that, guys. I really tell me, and I would love to ask Brian Compton this, or Andy Graziano, or anybody else who has been, or Art Staple, Andrew Ghost, whoever's been in that locker room for a while now. Tell me the last time. When was the last time this locker room was this unified? When was the locker room this clean? I don't think there's any baggage. There's no negativity. There's nothing really hazardous going on with this locker room right now. I just can't see Varlamov having a problem with Greiss splitting time when all they're doing is winning. Everyone's bought into the system. I don't think we've seen a clean locker room like this in many, many years. Bodie Wild and his recovery. Don't know. Don't know. Good question. Has Aho regressed? No, I don't think Aho has regressed. There's a couple of players on there who just got off to a very slow start. Hello, Otto Koivula. Hello, Aho. Hutton was another one who got off to a slow start. Yeah, that was just a slow start by a lot of these guys. I think they're going to get back into it. Give them a little more time. We've got plenty of it right now. We're still in the beginning of November. But ask me about Aho again in a couple of months, David. Yes, Anders Lee is definitely a big key to all of that in the locker room. It's one of those, unsung praises for the captain there. Alternating goalies in the playoffs. If it ain't broken, then why fix it? Because it didn't work for Billy Smith and it didn't work for Chico Resch. Yes, it worked for the first 2 years, but when it came down to it, Chico Resch wanted to be a starter. And when that happened, Resch left. He got traded. Could we see the same problem right now? I don't think so, but there's always cause for concern. Again, last year, Robin Lehner, did he deserve to get pulled? Probably not. He was having a great playoffs. There were other underlying issues with the Isles that will be addressed at some point during this season. You know what? They can bash the Isles all they want. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, if Varley goes down, I have no problem with Christopher Gibson coming back up here. I don't. I said this in the beginning of the season. I have no problem with Christopher Gibson playing 10 games this year in the National Hockey League. He fits the system. That's why he's still here. And I have no problem with Thomas Greiss playing close to 50, 55 games again this year. He can do it. Will the numbers, his goals against average, go up? Probably. But that's just, it's the nature of the beast. It's not about one player anymore. It's not. This is the whole team. Look, it's not the fact that the reason why they're not getting any respect is because they don't have that sexy player. Okay. Maybe Matt Barzal now, he's got the hair going and whatnot. He's got the look. He's got the attitude for it. Okay. He's that one sexy player. Okay. We got a bunch of beautiful bald men basically running this team, and all the girls are flocking for beautiful bald men. Okay. What do you want me to guys tell you? They're older men. That's it. That's just the style of it right now. The confidence. You follow the system. You bring everybody back. The unity in that team. The balance that we are now seeing. This was all coming together. This was going to happen at some point. So we've got about 10 minutes to go here, guys. Any other questions, comments, concerns? I wouldn't expect any trades anytime soon. Honestly, I would probably wait 4 to 6 weeks. Matt Martin, Tommy Kuhnhackl. If anybody else gets injured before then, you just never know. Ride the wave, guys. Ride this wave of enjoyment, bliss, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'm not worried about the respect, guys. I'm not worried about the respect. I'd rather have it this way. There's no drama. There's no drama right now. This is probably the one episode where I have done the least amount of planning for. And I thank the Islanders for that. This has been phenomenal. I'd rather talk to you guys like this, taking the questions, answering them, shooting everything up, having a drink, conversation here. This works. There's nothing to analyze. It's a 10-game winning streak. What are we going to do? We're going to celebrate. We're going to relax. We're going to enjoy these moments. And if the Islanders lose, okay, they lose. It's going to happen. And we'll have something else to talk about that. Upcoming tough stretch. I don't trust Pittsburgh, guys. I don't trust Pittsburgh. This was a team that was supposed to go down with all the injuries that they've had, and they're still in it. That bothers me. Granted, they're 8-6-1. I was kind of hoping they'd be a little bit lower. So, yep, there's that. I just don't trust Pittsburgh. I just don't trust Pittsburgh at all. Florida, again, another good team. They're on pace for 105, guys. They're ready for it. Then we get Toronto. Look, Tavares coming back. That's going to happen. It's just going to happen with Tavares. He's going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. We all know that. The Islanders have got to be ready. So, 3 tough games. As far as the streak goes, it's a new season. I know we had Pittsburgh's number last year. It's a new season. There's a bunch of new kids now playing for the injured players, so some of them weren't even around for that playoff series, which makes Pittsburgh a little more dangerous, in my opinion. Yeah, the Panthers scare me. There was a team I don't want to say I didn't trust, but they were definitely there. So, do we make it 11 in a row tomorrow night? For those of you who know me, my answer is no. Would I like to see them get 11? Yes. But for those of you I'm friends with, there's a part of me that really wants to say no. So we'll go from there. Yeah, Ross the Boss has been great. No question about it. I think he's Matt Martin's eventual successor. He just needs to keep his temper down. Sometimes the fights are needed, but I like it when he stands in front of the net and he starts scoring goals as well. I love the way he was skating. He weaved around those Ottawa Senator players, almost scored himself a goal. I think if he can continue working on that, he's going to be a solid player for the Islanders for years to come. That's all right. We're going to be here on Facebook. We're going to be here on Periscope. We're going to be here on YouTube. You can find us anywhere here. It's going to come back on the archive at some point. So, any other questions, comments, concerns, guys? Have fun. Been a great year so far. Johnson and Michael Dal Colle playing well with a healthy 23. Who are the 3 spares? It would be Kuhnhackl, Michael Dal Colle, and Ross Johnston if everyone stays healthy. And those would be the 3 spares. Everyone loves a Gordie Howe hat trick. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Pittsburgh can do. So that'll be it, guys. Thanks for coming in. Periscope, I'm going to work on you guys a little bit as soon as I get all the comments and whatnot. First time doing this, we'll do it again. Don't forget to follow Periscope. Follow Isles Talk on Periscope, Facebook, YouTube. We've got our own YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter and at P_Kreischer. You can follow Isles Talk on Twitter as well. You can follow us and like us on Facebook. So make sure you follow us all there. Thank you guys once again for coming in. Yeah, we're going to do this more often. I just found the simplicity of the media thing going on right now. So normally I do this on Wednesdays, but we've got Toronto coming in next week. So If it's worth doing a show next week, um, I will do probably Tuesday. And honestly, if we continue to win, I may just take a week off. That's just the way things are going right now. So I'll let you guys know. Probably by Sunday morning, I'll let you know what I'm going to be doing, whether it's you know, just some blogging going on. Yeah, don't forget to come join us at islestalk.com. We're gonna have a couple of write-ups coming soon. But yeah, if the Islanders continue to win, there's not much to say. So we'll see what happens. We'll critique it all, but if we don't do a show next week, we're definitely going to be back next Wednesday, the following Wednesday, before Thanksgiving. So, yeah, look for Tuesday or Wednesday, this Tuesday or the following Wednesday, for a show, and we'll go from there. So, thanks, guys. Let's go Islanders, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.